I just want to welcome everybody here tonight for the holiday cooking demo with Chef Connie. I'm glad to see you all here with us, and I'm going to mute you as you enter or attempt to do so. But you'll have the ability to unmute yourself to ask a question, or you can put your questions in the chat box, and I'll monitor that as we go along. Also, I'm filming the program for Milton Access Cable, and I hope you've all received the menus and shopping lists. Wendy, I'm going to send it to you for the dishes Connie will be making. And I want to thank the Friends of the Milton Public Library for their support of my programs. Now, let me tell you about Connie. She decided to follow her passion for food and entertaining after a long career in financial services. So she went to cooking school to learn from some of the greats, including Jacques Pepin and Julia Childs. She's hosted a very successful show called Meet Me in the Kitchen on Milton Cable for a long time. And her mantra today is cooking should be fun, based on a simple recipe with quality ingredients and best when shared with people you enjoy. So now please join me in a warm welcome for our chef.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being with me. And yes, I do love to entertain. And I have to say that last night was my first party of the season. We had 10 people here and I made all appetizers. And the reason I make that comment is that if any of you need some holiday appetizers, send me an email, cdspiros@comcast.net. It was a blast. People were like munching all over the place. And it's just, for me, the most fun thing to do is to have appetizers where people are walking around and talking to each other. And then we ended it with a dessert, and I'm going to make that dessert for us. And in fact, we're going to start with that dessert tonight. So, and ask questions along the way. There are going to be some gaps in timing where we need to watch something cook for 10 minutes. So I'm going to move things around. We're going to switch from one recipe to another. But we also will have some times for questions. So we're making, the first recipe I'm making is chocolate panna cotta. And this is actually a recipe that has coconut milk in it. You can make it with heavy cream, but I decided to cut back a little bit on the fat and to make it with coconut milk. It was actually not me that made that recommendation. It was recommended by King Arthur Flour. So apparently coconut milk is often a fat that's used to replace heavy cream. And when you make this, it is creamy and smooth and really lovely. So you start off with coconut milk, and I'm going to just show you my can of coconut milk. And you know what, Jean, what should we be on now? I'm just thinking this. We maybe shouldn't be on gallery view,
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say, what if we try I think I want to be able to see your cooktop is the thing.
Yeah, but everybody is, if we're all, Sarah, jump in here if you think you've got how we should set this up, because I usually have the cooktop and me.
Yes.
I mean, Jean, you can pin both screens. Pin the Connie and the cooktop, and then you should be good.
That's good.
Okay, good.
We need the cooktop to be big, and I want to be able to show people the screen.
Okay, good. So hold on one second. I'm going to let one person in. Let me just see here. So I'm going to pin you on that.
So you're making chocolate.
Okay.
Chocolate panna cotta. So it's like chocolate mousse. Hi, Judy.
I had trouble getting in, sorry.
That's okay.
Cooktop. I'm looking for your cooktop here. Lonnie, 1 minute. Okay, hold on just a sec here.
I'm going to keep talking while Jean is helping.
Yeah, keep talking. Yeah, here we go.
So, coconut milk, many different kinds of coconut milk. You want unsweetened.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you.
That's good.
Oh, it's still not there. We're still, yeah.
Jean, also, if you make me a co-host, I can figure it out.
Well, can't you see both of them? Because I can, now they're both central.
Nope, I'm sorry. I still see everybody.
I do too.
Oh, if you go to, here, I'll make you co-host, Sarah. Yes.
Trying to figure out what to do to get myself.
Okay, I'm seeing Connie and the cooktop. That's what I see.
Oh, see, I can pin myself, Sarah. Would that help?
I wonder if it's from our view at the top. If people go to, I have the speaker view. I chose the speaker view at the top, and then I have them both pinned. So Sarah, I'm not sure what else we can do here. We can try multi-speaker, perhaps.
Sorry.
Sarah's my
sorry, everybody.
My Zoom buddy here.
Host has spotlighted your video. Okay, so I need to spotlight me and spotlight the there we go.
There we go.
Here it
You
is.
got it?
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Does
Modern-
everyone see that? Is everyone seeing Connie and the cooktop?
Yes.
Okay, good. So here we go.
Yep.
This is just one brand. I buy a lot of stuff at Wegmans. You can buy their brand, unsweetened coconut milk. I'm going to pour 1 can, which turns out to be about 1.5 cups, into a sauce pot. And what you have to do is coconut milk gets kind of clumpy. So you want to make sure you get all the clumpiness out. And I'm going to show you that in a minute when we go over to the stove. So now you should be able to see the coconut milk in the cooktop. And I've got gelatin, which is Knox gelatin. I had never used this before I got this recipe. It comes in a box. There's 4 packets. 1 packet of gelatin is about, it's too much. It's more than you need. We only need 1.5 teaspoons. So I'm going to put the gelatin in a little cup, and I'm going to basically take 1 teaspoon and just spread it lightly. Hopefully you can see this. Very lightly into the coconut milk. And I'm going to take the other half just on the surface. Don't mix it in. I'm going to take about another half. And this is what helps it gel and make it like a mousse. Okay. That's going to sit for 10 minutes. Okay, so that's why I said we were going to start with dessert and move to our next appetizer. So appetizer recipe is next. And it is a apple cranberry chutney roulade. May have made this for some of you before, or if you've taken classes with me, I make this frequently. It is my go-to recipe for this season. And I'm going to move my camera so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put the camera down here. And you can see that I have a cutting board with a piece of plastic wrap on the bottom. And I'm going to take this piece of cheese, cream cheese. I always use full fat. Sorry, everybody. You know, it's the season to be decadent and healthy, get the healthy weight till January. So I'm cutting this the long way with a sharp knife. And you open it like a book, very appropriate for a library program. And put them next to each other. And I got some of the pieces of cheese here. Don't worry about that. We're going to just flatten this out a bit. The recipe that I gave you doesn't go through all this detail. I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote up the recipe, but this is what you really want to do. You want to take this piece of cheese now and cover it with another piece of wrap just for a minute while we sort of pound it down and get it to flatten out to a thinner consistency. And everybody knows that plastic wrap has its own mind. So you get yourself a rolling pin and you flatten it out and we roll it out a bit. Just not too long. We want it to be like a nice roll. It's a roulade is like a roll or a log shape. And basically that's what we're looking for. So we, oh, and by the way, you should be taping 10 minutes. I didn't time 10 minutes, but I can sort of figure out how long 10 minutes is. I'm going to turn this around and get it a little bit on the other side. Keep stretching it out, probably to about 12 inches long. I like this French rolling pin because it doesn't have those things on the end. I can use all of the rolling pin, but you know what? Whatever type you like works for you. So this gets stretched. It's stretched. You could take the whole thing and do this, but to me, this is so much easier to just start out with the book shape and then thin it out a little bit. We're getting close. And the other thing you do now is, I'm not a big scallion person, but with cream cheese and chutney, scallions are fabulous. So I previously chopped some shallots, scallions. We're using shallots for something else tonight. You chop scallions, 3 of them. And I think that's about as far as I'm going to go right there. Okay. That's not quite, that's probably 10 inches more, but that's okay. So take this scallion. Everybody knows what a scallion is. Get rid of this. Get rid of the edges. Chop off the top, and then chop, chop, chop. And out of this is like when this is what Julia Child used to have, minions everywhere chopping things up. I don't have minions. They're called Connie. So we're going to take this top piece off, and we're going to sprinkle some scallions, about half of them. And again, I said I don't like scallions, but with this cheesy goodness and the sweetness of the chutney, they are really good. They just kind of cut the cheesiness and the sweetness down. Okay, and then we're going to take some. I use Stonewall Kitchen chutney. I used to work there in Chestnut Hill. Sorry, I've got to get a spoon. And I was up in Maine last weekend and went to the outlet store and got some deep deals. They have an outlet store in Kittery, and it's great. It says, the whole recipe uses about a half a jar. Use whatever you want. It's up to you to sort of know the flavors that you like. Once you make it once, you'll say, oh, that wasn't enough. So we're going to put more. You definitely use more on the inside than you will on the outside. This jar was already opened. I use it for everything. Anytime I have chicken or pork, I just smear it on at the last part of the cooking, or I serve it alongside. Chutneys are just great. Chutneys are basically like a jam, but they've got some acid to them as well. They have either vinegars or onions or something like that. You could use a jam, in fact, if you wanted to. So you'll see I'm not putting it all the way to the edge. It's going to get wasted this way, but I am going to put it to the edge this way, because when we roll it up, we want to have it oozing out of the end. And this is a really pretty thing to make at this time of year, but I make it all year. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just roll this up. This is the hardest part of the recipe, is roll this up into a log, and it's going to go into the fridge. But before it does, I'm going to put some scallions on the top. Literally, this is the hardest part, as I said. You find yourself cracking the thing, it doesn't matter. You're going to make it look really pretty at the end when it comes out of the fridge. I may not be able to show you this tonight because it's better when it's made about an hour in advance. Don't leave it overnight. You definitely don't want to do that. You want to try and make it 2 hours, hour or 2 hours before you're going to use it. If you leave it overnight, it gets really soft and soggy, and you don't want that. Okay, so there you go. You get to the seam and you kind of give it a little snugness. Take this plastic wrap off now, enough that you can just put more of the scallions, and we're going to come back and put more of the chutney afterwards. So if you don't see this before the end of our time together, know that when this is done and you take it out of your refrigerator, you want to put more chutney on it, and then you just serve it like that with crackers on the side. Okay, any questions about what that looks like or what that's all about? All righty, okay. So,
One question.
yes.
How long does it stay in the fridge? I know you said not overnight, but how long
Right.
do you, 2 hours or so?
But 2 hours is probably the max, Wendy. That's the best to do is 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so if you can time it so that you're making this and then you're going to come out and serve it 2 hours later, that's the best option. Okay, let me just get this in the fridge because I will. So it looks like this when you're putting it in the fridge. It's just a log. And again, it is so yummy. I've been making this for years. And when I worked at Stonewall Kitchen, I've started making it. And it's just, you could use any kind of chutney, whatever you find. I'll be right back. I'm going to stick it in the fridge. Okay, so take a look at the pot now. And can you see there's sort of it looks like a mountain range from 40,000 feet. It's the surface is bubbly a little bit, and it's just ready for us to take the next step on the panna cotta. So if you can get your recipe out for the panna cotta now, I'm just going to bring mine over here. We have our chocolate bits. I'm using semi-sweet. You could use dark chocolate if you wanted. We've got 2 tablespoons of sugar and 2/3 cup of milk chocolate bits. And what we're gonna do is add the sugar and the chocolate bits into this pot. And we're gonna turn on the heat to kind of a low, medium to medium low. And you wanna whisk. And it's gonna take a little bit of time, but you're gonna whisk this until it totally. You'll see the color change first. And then you'll see it get smooth in about 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm gonna let that sit for a minute, and I'm going to suggest for anybody who's making the chicken that they turn the oven on for 400 degrees. And let me see what else. I'm gonna get my ingredients out for the chicken. So those include, obviously chicken. Let me be right back with that. Puff pastry. So I'm gonna have these come out with me here. Let me just wipe my board down for a second. We're gonna talk about puff pastry while I'm telling you or showing you how this works. So puff pastry is one of those things. I went to cooking school at Boston University. They have a gastronomy program. And we learned to make puff pastry, and the first thing I said at the end was, why? Why would I ever make puff pastry? But people do, and I get it. But there are, Pepperidge Farm is one that's been around for a long time. And I found out that Trader Joe's has got a really good puff pastry as well. And now you can even find, and those are all frozen, and then you just put them in the fridge overnight and they defrost to the level that you want. But now there's a refrigerated version of puff pastry, which I tried, and it was excellent. So there's some really good options, and I would never bother making it. But so I'm gonna just hold that there for 1 minute. We're almost there. I'm gonna just pull my camera up so I can see what's going on the camera here. So you can see the color has changed of our panna cotta, and it doesn't get thick here. It's going to get thick when it refrigerates. But what you want to do is make sure that you have really, really gotten all the chocolate from the bottom. And so I twist the pan a little bit and just make sure that there's no big chunks of chocolate. Okay, we shut that off. And I'm going to bring you over to the counter with me. And I've got what's called a batter bowl. Anybody see one of these? Batter bowl? A very useful tool. It's a huge measuring cup. This is an 8-cup measuring cup. I never use it for that. But what I am going to do with this is I'm going to use a strainer. Here, let me pull this down. I need a third camera. I'm going to pull this in. I'm going to pour it in, I should say. I'm not doing, let me do it from this angle here. I'm going to pour this in so you can see it go through the strainer. There's just a few little, I don't know what you call them. Cocoa nibs probably is what they're called officially. You may be able to see them in the bottom of the pan, but that's about it. We're going to leave that there. It smells so good. I cannot tell you. And what I'm going to do now is my friend Judy is on the call. She's in Cambridge, Judy. And Judy and I regularly go to Seasons 52. I don't know if anybody's been there. This is not an ad for Seasons 52, but there's one in Chestnut Hill, there's one in Burlington, and it's a great, great restaurant. And when you order your dessert, they come in a little jar, a little holder like this. So this is about 3 inches, it's just like 4 bites of dessert. It is the best thing you can do. And when you order it to take out, they give you this. So I have 13 of these. You're going to say she's really obsessed. So, but it is the perfect size for this dessert. So I fill it up and I stick it in the refrigerator. So this probably does about 7 or 8 of this size. So last night I had this as dessert. I had a little plate, a little tray with all of these little guys out there, and take a look at what it looks like. This was one of the ones that was left over. So this is, I put a little raspberry on the top, and you give, it's a little teaspoon I don't know if I have one. I don't have my little spoons. You put a little mini spoon in and it is rich and it is yummy. And that was our dessert. I did get some cookies. I picked up some cookies from someplace. Oh no, I went to Dessert Works in Norwood and they have these little mini desserts. So the combination of this on a tray with a little platter of desserts, semi-homemade, everybody. Don't be afraid to like decide that you're not going to make every item in your dinner in your repertoire. So this is going to go, I'm going to do the rest of them off camera. This is going to go in the fridge. You can do this overnight, or even better, you can just, let it sit in the fridge for like, again, 3 or 4 hours. But I just usually make it the night before. And I've served this on Christmas Eve. It's a real treat because it's lovely. It's a little rich, but it's just a little bit. Now, you could also use teacups, which would be beautiful. One year I had Christmas teacups and I made it out of that. So this is just a really super, super recipe. Okay. So that's it.
Can you use chocolate bars instead of the chocolate bits?
Sure. Oh, that would be great. Linda, that would be great. Like Heath bars or something that has another little chocolatey flavor, but has something else going on would be wonderful. So, great. That's
Would you put a dab of whipped cream on it too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. None of this Cool Whip though.
Okay.
Okay. You gotta do the real thing, the real whipped cream.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. So we are moving to the main meal. So let me get my recipes here. And whoa. And I just threw a cookbook in my sink. This is what happens when you cook in your kitchen and you live in a condo. It's kind of a small kitchen. It seems to work, but not for like 3 or 4 menu recipes in one time. Anyway, so we have puff pastry. Now I told you about puff pastry from Pepperidge Farm. I don't have the box out. I know everybody knows what puff pastry looks like. It has 2 sheets in the pastry and they're little sheets that separate it. It looks like this. And we're going to put it on a tray, on a cookie sheet. I am going to dry the cookie sheet though, on the cutting board. Sorry, not cookie sheet, cutting board. And I'm going to put just a little bit of flour and I'm going to roll it out. So let me get my flour. Hold on. Got to get my tray of goodies here. All right. So we're going to take a little bit of flour. And you just dust, you don't need a lot. It's not that sticky because it's been in the fridge. Puff pastry really needs to be refrigerated to get the best puff. That's how it works. It's multiple layers of pastry and butter. And when the refrigerator, keeps the butter in there nice and cold is when it's ready to go into the oven. You don't want to let it sit out. You really want it to benefit from the cold air. And then when it gets into the hot oven, the pastry puffs up and the layers open up and the butter just gets beautiful. And it's magic. It's absolute magic. Okay, so I am going to, even though it says to make the, oh, you know what? I'm not going to roll this out. That's right. Sorry, I'm looking at my menu here. So follow the recipe. That's the first thing you need to know. So we're going to start. I'm going to leave that there. It's going to be fine because it's been sitting in the fridge for a while. I'm going to move over to the stove again, and I'm going to get my 10-inch frying pan. Everybody knows I love cast iron, and I'm going to saute the chicken. So let's do that. I'm going to move my recipe back over here. Are you getting dizzy yet? All right. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter. And that's going to cook down. And I've got my chicken breast all ready to go. You need a nice hot pan. I like cast iron because it gets hot and it stays hot. Everybody's afraid of cast iron. We've talked about this a lot before. That in fact, it's not difficult to keep a cast iron clean. You need to just make sure that right after you cooked in it, you get it clean. So the first thing you do is get a nice sharp, bristly brush. and you make sure that you know how to use the soapy water that is fine. You don't want to leave it in soapy water because then that's when it gets rusted. But you basically want to be sure that you've got a nice brush and can easily scrub off whatever protein is sitting there and you'll be fine. So I've got my chicken breasts here. They're not huge. I don't want huge chicken breasts. I try not to buy them. I try and look in the grocery store for the smallest chicken I can find. I don't know if you can see that, but it's probably about 5 or 6 ounces. Some of them are 8, 9 ounces, way more than we need. So I try not to do that. So I am going to see how hot it is. You know, one way to see if the pan is hot is to get some water and just toss it into your pan and see if it's, that's not doing it. It's starting to. You'll see if it sizzles. Just starting to sizzle now. I'm not sure you can hear that, but that's what you're looking for. Okay, we're gonna put that in inside down on a nice buttery pan. And we're gonna let it cook about 5 minutes on each side. And I'm going to move on and wait to turn that over. And we're not gonna cook it through, by the way. It's not gonna be cooked through. It's gonna end up being partially cooked. It'll be nice and brown on the outside. And then we're going to cool it off a little bit and put it into the puff pastry. So I'm going to move on and keep rolling out my pastry. Let me just see what I'm. A 14-inch square. Okay, 14-inch square. So we're going to make 4. The recipe calls for 4. I'm only making 2. As you can see, I only use 2 chicken breasts. But I'm going to just fold this down again here. And, you know, get it close enough to 14. It's kind of not, you're going to divide this in 4 equal parts. And you just want to make sure that it's big enough that you can actually enclose the chicken. See, one of the things I didn't do beforehand was put a wet paper towel underneath this board. As everybody knows by now, a wet paper towel will keep the board from sliding all over the place. But I didn't remember that, and I'm too lazy to get one out now. So I'm going to just keep going. Okay, that looks probably close to 14, but I'm going to go get my tape measure just because I want to see how good my eye is. Well, 2 inches off. Oh, yeah. I lost my touch. So, anyway, I'll tell you while I'm talking here about some of the appetizers I made. First of all, I made sweet and sour meatballs. I know everybody makes those and everybody loves those, but I make them with a recipe that is from my best friend's mother-in-law. And Teresa was an Italian cook, and she was a wonderful cook. And these are beautiful homemade meatballs that I made. And then I did the typical, you know, grape jelly and chili sauce. Like everything else, sweet and sour, old fashioned, but that's okay. I made a deconstructed beef Wellington on puff pastry with mushroom duxelle, which is just chopped up mushrooms, garlic, and some sherry wine. And I made shrimp cocktail. I made deviled eggs. It was like a throwback party. It was so much fun. And nobody left hungry, I can tell you that. But they did eat a lot. But I went shopping yesterday morning at Wegmans and I made everything during the day and we were partying at 6 o'clock. So, okay. It's probably close or right. It's 13 by 11. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut it in 4 pieces. And I'm going to get ready to turn my chicken over because it's almost ready to turn over to the second side. Again, we don't want it to be, just washing my knife off, by the way. Walk around with a cloth on your apron, by the way. That's the best thing to do. Okay, so this is getting cut into 4. I'm going to stick this in the fridge along separately with the chicken that's going in the fridge to cool down after I finish cooking starting to sear it. Okay. Let's get this turned around. Now look at the beautiful color. Hey, and by the way, don't mess around with your chicken and start moving it all the time. Because that action cools down the chicken every time you do that. You want to leave it. You want to not touch your chicken and just let it sit there. It is best to let the protein caramelize in its own way, and it separates the chicken from the pan without you ripping the chicken because you're impatient and you try and, flip it over. So let it sit there, let it cook, flip it over, let it cook. And you can see how beautiful. I mean, look at the color on that chicken, especially the one on the top of the screen. So I'm going to get that ready, and I'm going to put this in the fridge, the puff pastry in the fridge. And I'm going to get ready to put the chicken in the fridge as well. So bear with me for a couple of minutes here. So again, I want to keep that chicken, puff pastry in the fridge because I want it to be cold when I put it in the oven. And what we're going to do is we'll take that puff pastry, and once the chicken's cool, about 10 minutes, we'll put it in the middle of the, we'll put some boursin cheese on the bottom, some fresh parsley, and we'll put the chicken breasts on top of that. We'll close up the puff pastry, seal it, egg wash, flip it over so that it's this beautiful soft cover top, put more egg wash, and then bake it. And we may not finish that on camera, but it'll be, I'll take a picture and I'll send it out to anybody who wants to see what it looks like. It's gorgeous. The presentation is best when you cut it in half and you split it open and you see the layers of the boursin cheese and the parsley and the chicken. It's beautiful. And sauteing the chicken like this helps it stay moist, high heat, and then not finishing it and letting it finish in the oven. So we are just about ready, and I've got steam all over the place here. I'm shutting this off.
Connie, when you put the pastry in the fridge, did you separate it with anything? No, you just put it on top of each other? Okay.
Yeah. It's going to get cold. It's going to be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Famous last words. It'll probably stick for me just because you asked.
Oh.
I'm hoping that. So I'm going to take this chicken and put it on a plate and stick it in the fridge with aluminum foil on top and just let it sit there. You did get some stickies. Okay. All right, we're gonna do just a bit of cleanup work here. Let me get some space. And let's see what's next. Oh, I'm just gonna show you. So we're using boursin cheese. I'm sure everybody knows it. This is the traditional one. It has garlic and fine herbs. If you're not a person who wants to eat garlic or onions, I know there are allergies or sensitivities to garlic and onions. There are lots of other cheese blends, and Wegmans has one that's an Asiago cheese and artichoke mixture, which is really good, and it would be delicious here. I've had that separately, but not in the recipe, not in this recipe, but it would be wonderful. Okay, so we are going to move on to the beginning of our stroganoff. So I told you to be jumping around here. Just while we're waiting for the chicken to cool down a bit, I wanted to get the stroganoff started. So let me get that. Oh, and I should mention for those of you making the stroganoff, start water boiling now if you are going to make it for tonight, for your pasta, for your noodles. But if not, don't worry about it. So I've just started my water boiling and I'm getting all the ingredients out, and I'm going to start the first part of this and then we're going to finish up the chicken. So again, this is one of those programs where we're moving around. So let me So let me show you the beef. I'm going to spread it out on a plate. So the beef tenderloin, this is a topic of conversation at our house. We don't eat a lot of beef, but I do like it. I grew up with it, not eating a lot because it was too expensive, especially the tenderloin. But we eat very little. So this recipe calls for a pound and it serves 2. Well, that's too much for us. So I would say for me, it serves 4. So we're going to have leftovers, a couple of times because we don't really ever eat that much beef. And beef is.
What time should I come by?
Pardon me?
What time should I come by?
Oh, exactly. So what I did, I'll tell you though, Shaw's has a grass-fed beef tenderloin that is 6 ounces, and it's $15. And Jean and I, my husband and I, had that for dinner with this recipe, and it was just fine. I mean, it was really, you don't need a lot, but this is what I have. This is a pound of tenderloin, and it was a lot of money from Wegmans. So it's dear, but it's sliced 1 inch wide, 2 inches long, and about a half an inch thick. It might be a little thinner than that. And we're going to cook this. I'm going to cook this in the frying pan. I'm going to dry it off first with a paper towel, and I'm going to put salt and pepper on it. And you make it a single layer, and one of the reasons you want to do this, by the way, is you don't want it to steam heat by having too much moisture. So you definitely always want to do that with your protein, is put a paper towel over it, and make sure that it's nice and dry before you cook it. And I'm going to add some kosher salt and pepper, and just a couple of cracks of black pepper and some kosher salt that you spritz over I see these chefs doing it at this like extremely high level. And I'm thinking, they want to make sure that they got it all over. So, and I only do it on one side, usually, even though it says well seasoned both sides, I don't bother with that. So I'm going to bring this over to the frying pan area. I'm going to switch pans. Sorry for the noise. I have the big guns here. I've got my 12-inch. And I'm going to wipe this. You can see the stickiness on the pan on the side of the pot. Okay. So I'm going to bring this back. Keep moving the recipes back and forth. Sorry about that. Okay. So we are going to take a tablespoon of vegetable oil. So I use grapeseed oil. When it says vegetable oil, I want to be able to know what I'm using. Canola oil, I don't really know what that is. And so I never use it. I basically use oils that I can recognize. So I'm going to put just about a tablespoon of vegetable oil in. And I'm going to get this going here. Now this we're going to put salt and pepper on. As I said, I didn't put salt and pepper on the chicken because it's going to be on top of Boursin cheese. And Boursin cheese, as you probably can imagine, is salty, as all cheeses are for the most part. So I'm putting salt and pepper on this, but I did not on the last. So I'm going to get one of my tongs and I'm going to let this get hot again, as we've said. And I'm just going to get it to the point where I add the beef to it. And, I set this up so I could talk to you, and I'm not talking to you while I'm cooking. That's better. So, we're going to try and get this hot again, as we've said before. So this recipe is a little bit more complex because of the number of ingredients it has. It's got mushrooms, it's got shallots, cognac or brandy. You can skip that, but I love that. And we're going to boil it off. It's going to go in at a time when the pan is really hot, and it's going to just absorb it, but it's going to keep that sugar flavor from the alcohol. It's got sour cream and Dijon mustard. So I made this recipe once for 80 people. I was catering my youth. I'm going to test that water again though. Let me do that first here. Hold on. use that water to test this heat. It's getting there. Okay, so what I like to do is make sure that this is spread around a little bit, that the oil is on all the surface. Let me just move this around. Okay. You can hear that. That is hot. All right. So we're going to do this in a single layer. And if you have to use two, to do it in stages, do that. There's some little pieces that are smaller. Don't worry about that. You want to get them in as quickly as you can because you want them to all kind of cook at the same time. Yeah, I'm going to separate them into 2 layers. Okay, about 1 minute per side. And you can see right away, because the heat's so hot, it's getting brown already. It's cooking already. So I'm not timing it, I'm sort of just keeping track of it. As much as I can. How's that look on the camera? Yeah, you can see it. There you go. Okay. All right, let's see how this looks. Yep. Turn it over. You're not looking for it to really brown because in a minute it's not going to brown that much, but some of it will. You can see some of these pieces are doing that, and it's a hot stove. I'll just tell you that it's a hot pan. You don't want to mess around. I'm going to get another clean plate ready. To put this in. I think the rest of this will fit in the second batch. Yeah, we should have that. Any questions, anybody? Oh, I think I mentioned in the notes, you could use ribeye steak, which is less expensive. You could find tenderloin tips. The fruit center used to sell tenderloin tips, and I would buy those. You know, a tenderloin, as you probably know, this is a minute. I'm going to take them off.
Connie, we've lost the cooktop camera. It's
Oh.
just showing black.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
oh, it appears that, what has happened to your cooktop? Wait a minute.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to check it out once I take this off. Hold on.
Oh, it's just because for some reason, wait a minute.
Well, you know what it could be? Unfortunately, it's the cooktop camera is my phone, and I always get nervous that it's too hot to the heat.
Oh, did you lose power with it again,
I don't know.
Connie?
I gotta see if it's probably like so hot that it's saying, what are you doing here? It's shut off. Okay, we're gonna use, oh boy, I hope I didn't fry my phone.
Okay, do you want to can you restart your phone again? Do you think
It doesn't seem to want to let me do that, so I'm gonna let it cool down. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I will show you what I've done here in 1 minute. Let me just I'm gonna put the other beef in and I'll show you what this looks like at the camera until my phone cools down, and we'll see if we can try it again. Yeah, my phone's starting up again, so
okay, maybe we can get it back then, huh?
yeah, we'll get it back. It probably has a sensitivity to heat that's saying, what are you doing? Let me show you on my other camera. Okay, the second pieces are in here. I'm going to show you these on camera here. So you can see they're not overcooked by any means, but look at the juices. So it's still rare or medium rare inside. You can see the red juices, which look just yummy. So that's going to stay here. And I'm going to try my phone one more time. Oh yeah, phone turned off due to heat. Okay, everybody, that's a lesson. I'm going to try and raise this camera up. Give me 1 minute, everybody. Sorry for the delay here. Okay, Dean, you may need to let me in again. I'll be,
Oh, yeah,
Hold on.
let me do that. Yep, yep,
hold on
yep.
a second. I haven't come in yet. Let me do that. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
folks, technical difficulties.
It's always a little tricky because we have two screens, so yeah.
I know. Well, that's a, something I have to figure out because if it gets too hot, the phone shuts off, which it should. It's trying to protect my phone, so. So we're gonna keep doing, so I'm gonna just tell you what I'm doing. So I'm cooking the rest of the beef. And we'll add it all together. And we're going to then make the sauce. So I'm gonna take this out of the pan and here's, let me just, okay, let's see here, Jean.
You come back in.
Let's see, hold on a second. I need to find you first.
You're not alone with the Zoom link because what happens is this new software sends it out right when people register. And if they don't make a note of that, then they don't have the link. And so that's what I was scrambling to send it to a bunch of people that had signed up
Oh,
that
wow.
hadn't seen the link. So we were able to get them the link, I think. And, you know, this is a bit of a learning curve for us because we have this new program.
It is. It's a learning
And I just want to
curve.
share one thing, Connie, that Jacqueline
Yes.
Morgan said, I did get tenderloin tails at Keneally's last week.
You know what, hold on, I can't hear you. I'm gonna come right back there and hear you in 1 second. I heard Jackie Morgan said she got 10 or 1 ticks. And I wanted to find out where that was, so give me 1 second, okay. So here we go.
Okay, great. There we go. Here was admit. Yeah, good. And you know, we'll mute it again, Connie, so we don't have that feedback, right? It's
Okay,
joining
say
now.
that- say
It's
that again,
joining
Jean.
now. Yeah, yeah. So I think
Hold on 1 sec, okay, here I am. Let me get this back on. I'm gonna leave it further apart, further away, so sorry. You may not be able
oh
to.
yeah, okay, good. Your cooktop's here. Let me just go to start video for the cooktop, right? That's to start video. Yeah, okay. So um
Sorry, everybody.
I'm not seeing it, but let me see if I can pin it. Hold
Now you
on.
can see my hand.
Okay, wait a minute.
All right,
Okay, there's that.
back in business, but it's further away. I apologize.
We're seeing your cooktop, but I
Got it.
think
All right, so that's perfect. Now, we're back in business. All right, taking these pieces of meat off. We want them to be in single layer. They're not quite in single layer right now, but they will be in a minute. All right.
I'm gonna continue this. Okay, can everybody see the cooktop and Connie? I removed the spotlight, so I'm hoping I pinned them both, so I'm hoping you can see them.
There we go. It's back.
We
Okay.
can't see the cooktop.
Okay,
Oh.
so let's just
Now
see.
now
Excuse
go
me,
to the
Now we can.
Jean, I've spotlighted them for everybody, so everybody should be able to see the Connie's two screens again.
when I
Yes.
repinned the cooktop, it said to take off the spotlight. That's why I did that, but I can.
Don't pin. Spotlight is the right way to go. Oh,
Okay, let's try it again, Sarah, here. Okay. All right. How are we doing now seeing the cooking, people?
Good.
Are you guys able to see it?
Can you see everything now?
I have them pinned and spotlighted, I believe. Let's just see here. Okay. You
Okay,
all
we're
being very patient. We
Are we
appreciate
back
that.
in action? Sorry about that. Hey, just think you could be doing this outside. And it'd be horrible, right? The weather is perfect for virtual.
Connie, I did mute the
Cooktop.
cooktop, okay? Just so you know. Yeah.
Okay, we're back. Now, we're coming back. We're put on hold that the beef is cooked. We're gonna wait to do the sauce. We're gonna go back to the chicken. So switch your head again. And we've got the puff pastry, which is back here. Let me get it back for you. So I have my puff pastry pieces, which are sort of squares. I'm going to make them into squares once I get them here. So I'm going to make them back into a square. I'm only doing 2, as I said. And by the way, I always buy chicken breasts on the bone, no matter what. Oh, I wanted to go back to Jackie Morgan's comment about tenderloin tips. Jackie, who sells them? Is Jackie there?
She's here. I found them at Canelli's last week.
Canelli's. Oh,
They
yeah.
were called tenderloin tails.
Tenderloin.
Tails. Tails.
There you go. Tenderloin tails. And so those are, if a tenderloin, is like this size, a big tenderloin, and they can't sell the end of it. Usually you turn the end of it underneath so that when you cook it, it will cook evenly. So the Canelli's, and that's where I used to buy it, they'd cut off the tail so that they'd have a perfectly shaped tenderloin. And all those tails were like perfect tenderloin, and they would sell them for half the price. So I would go in there every time I was around there, Fruit Center, and I'd buy tenderloin tails. And they are so good. So think about that as an option, because for this, you're not looking for a big piece of meat. You're looking for slices, and tenderloin tails would be perfect. So thank you, Jackie Morgan. She knows food. We know Jackie. Okay, so we have our puff pastry. I'm going to grab the Boursin cheese, which is right here.
Connie, I just wanted to say, make sure that your phone doesn't get too hot. I think that might be why it shuts off.
Yeah, it does. It's okay right now because it's the stove is off right now, so I'm letting it cool down.
Okay, all right, very
So
good.
thank you, Jean. Thank you. You're right. Okay, so we've got some parsley that I've chopped up. We've got the Boursin cheese. We're going to take about, I think it's 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to just look at my recipe. I should know this recipe. I've just been making it lately for a lot of people. Let's see here. Okay. 2 tablespoons of the spread. And we're going to just kind of measure it on our own here, close enough, 2 tablespoons. And I am using my fingers. I know that's it's your first utensil. So we're going to take another, oops, this is me, oops, as it goes all over the table, all over the countertop. Okay, so we're going to spread it out a little bit. Oh gosh, don't want to use your fingers like I just did. Hold on. I have a lovely offset spatula that I bought and I forget to use it, but let me, so this is an offset spatula, by the way. I know I've shown you all this before. It is the perfect thing to do so many things, most notably lifting things out or frosting a cake. But I'm going to just pat it down here. You can't see that. I think you can see it over here a little better. Pat it down so it's not the complete circle, the complete square, but just basically the part around your chicken, most of your chicken breast. So we want to do that. Okay. And then top it with a tablespoon of parsley and just eyeball it. That's fine. Tablespoon of parsley. So that's really fresh. Beautiful. And then you take the chicken breast and you lay it there, as you can see. And what we need now is an egg wash. And an egg wash is basically, as we know, 1 egg and about a tablespoon of water. Egg washes can be different. You can just make it just with the egg. You can make it just with the egg yolk. It's more yellow looking when you just use the yolk. Then I have to show you, this is the cutest little tool I own. It's my little whisk. Just going to add a tablespoon of water and just give that a whisk. And then I'm going to make this the sticky stuff. The egg becomes the sticky stuff and it holds this all together. Okay, so I've got a brush and I'm going to brush the sides of everybody can see sort of what I'm doing. My camera maybe not properly. No, I think it is. Okay. Sorry if the technical difficulties we're having today are unique.
Well, we'll sort it out, Connie.
Yeah, I need another camera.
Because actually your programs are the only ones where we need two screens.
I know.
So yeah, it's always a bit of a learning curve. But I
Yeah.
think thanks to Sarah, we have
Got it. We got it.
At
We
least
got it.
I hope it's working for everyone so they can
I
see.
think so. It should be able to, hopefully, right? Okay, we're going to fold these into the center and we're going to seal them that way. And you can see where we're going with this. It's a little en croûte. So
Connie,
it's just,
can I
yes.
ask a question? It's Paula. Hi.
Yes. Hi, Paula.
Hi. I totally missed what you had said you like chicken on the bone, but
Oh, sorry, I didn't finish. I never buy chicken breast boneless. I buy the chicken on the bone and then I bone it.
oh, okay. Okay.
Just to save money.
And I was like, I didn't think the bone was in that chicken, but I
Oh,
just,
no, sorry. Good point.
okay. Yeah.
Good point.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for the question because I finished half my sentence and never.
Well, you had other things going on. It's no problem.
Just a couple. Yeah, this is what these classes are like, though. You have to like keep up with me. I know it's not easy. It's not at all easy for me either. So I'm the worst at it. Okay, so we folded the corners in. We're going to press them in as much as we can to kind of keep this from oozing the cheese, the good cheese. We're going to flip it over and I'm going to get a cookie sheet, which I have lined with parchment paper. And by the way, I use parchment paper that I get from King Arthur Flour. They have natural, not dyed parchment paper. So I like to use that. So we're going to put that here. My two pieces are here. I'm going to brush it like crazy all over. I want it to be golden brown. And I hope that we still have time for this to come out. I think it cooks about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So these are small chicken breasts, so they should be okay. And the oven is nice and hot, so it should be good. It's at 400, so it should be a good hot oven. Okay, so those are going in the oven for 25 minutes. I'm gonna put it for 20 and take a look. Okay, everybody. Are you with me? Is everybody okay?
They're all
Okay.
mute, so they're really quiet.
No, everybody's so quiet. Did I scare you?
You're doing so great, Connie, and all is delicious. I love people who cook. I told you that. Because I'm not one of them.
Oh, you're too funny. You're too funny. Okay, now that that's it, let's get back to the beef tenderloin, the beef stroganoff. I started to say that in my old days of cooking, of catering, I made this recipe for 80 people. And it was a New Year's Eve party. And it was crazy. Like I would never do that again. It was just too much, too much. But it was tasty, and you can. What the reason for telling you that is you can multiply this recipe, and it's great. So
I was gonna. How many pounds of pasta did you order?
Oh gosh, I wish I could remember. That is a great question. I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm sure I measured it out at the time, but that's a great idea. I should figure it out. I was a math major, so I kind of just extrapolated the numbers from my regular recipe and made it. So it was great. Okay, I'm gonna get all my ingredients over here now for the. Oh, I realized I forgot. Now, here's what happens. Occasionally I forget things. And so I looked at my table and I have vanilla sitting out there and I'm thinking, oh, what was I supposed to put the vanilla in? So the vanilla was supposed to go into the chocolate panna cotta. Hi, Patty. And Annabelle. So just know that you're supposed to put a teaspoon of vanilla into that chocolate panna cotta. It's going to be fine, but it will be better with that. So I have not put it in the fridge yet. So I still have my batter bowl and the vanilla is going to go in that. It's going to be just fine. So try and remember, that's called mise en place. Have everything out on the counter that you need so that when you go back, you say, oh, I forgot that. It's the only way you can really remember it accurately. So, okay. Let's go back to the beef stroganoff. And we are at number 5. So we're going to add another tablespoon of butter. And we're going to make our sauce. And at the same time, I'm gonna make my noodles. So my water's been boiling. I've got medium egg noodles here. And just follow whatever the instructions are. I think it's like 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm gonna pour them in, have them cook while we're cooking the sauce. So I need about 8 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna try and remember that. We'll see how good I am at remembering it. Okay, so I'm taking the butter. I'm using the same pan. There's a little bit of butter left, but I'm gonna add a little bit more of that second tablespoon. You leave all the great stuff that's in the bottom of the pan so that the sauce has all of that. That's called the fond. And it's the stuff that's left over. It's all that protein that sits there. And I'm going to add to that my shallots. Shallots are fabulous. I always have them in my cupboard. They're in a pinch. They are the best thing to use in a salad dressing, and in a sauce, they're wonderful. And they finish off sauces beautifully. And then I'm going to add in the mushrooms in a minute. This is a way though with the butter to get all of the stuff that's on the bottom of the pan loose. Just checking to make sure my phone's not getting hot again. Seems to be okay. Okay, we're gonna add the mushrooms in. This is 8 ounces of mushrooms. And they're cut pretty thin. These are not small mushrooms. I love mushrooms, so I don't necessarily make them, although the recipe suggests small mushrooms. I'm gonna just put in the big ones, and they're gonna create a lot more liquid because mushrooms are mostly water, as we know. And they're gonna just melt in here, and you're gonna be able to enjoy the nice flavor of the mushrooms. Okay, I'm gonna move this again over here so I can see you while I'm cooking here. All right. So we let those cook for a little bit of time. I'm gonna add some salt and pepper. So salt is one of those things that helps bring out the moisture in things. And it's one of the reasons, by the way, I'm a proponent of not salting your beef before you cook it. Now I did it today because it's gonna cook for so little time, the beef. But if you've got a beautiful tenderloin and you're cooking it on the stove, try not to salt it right away because sometimes that draws out the moisture. There are recipes that suggest otherwise, but my father owned a restaurant and he always said to me, don't salt it that fast. Don't salt it that early. So let it cook a little bit first and then salt the other half or halfway through the first half, salt your food, then salt your beef in particular. Okay. I'm gonna put just a little bit more pepper. I like pepper. All right. There's salt and peppers in here. These are looking beautiful. Look at the color. Look at that heat. I think we're okay. All right. What's next? Some cognac. Now, using alcohol when you cook. The idea, and this is just a bottle of brandy that, randomly I found it in the cupboard. Somebody used it, I don't know. Just plain old brandy, but you can use Marsala wine, whatever you want. But if you can, use it because again, it does, the alcohol goes into the air, it steams off, and what you're left with is the sweetness that comes with alcohol. So I'm going to take a tablespoon of cognac, or this is brandy actually.
Excuse me, Connie, there's one question
Yeah.
from, I think it's from Susan Curley. How do you clean your mushrooms before cooking?
Oh, I wash them. I know people aren't supposed to do that, Susan, but I'm a person who washes mushrooms. They grow in the ground. They're dirty. You can brush them off, but I don't think they brush as well as I want them to. So I wash them. Now I'm putting this, you want to be really careful that you don't get this anywhere near the heat, the source of heat, because you'll have a flaming dish, which is lovely, but you have to know how to handle that. So this is another way that you're going to get all those good things out of the bottom of that pan is from the brandy that's in there. So I'll lower the heat just a little bit, and the smell is unbelievable. It's just beautiful. So those look great. And I'm going to add some beef broth. I buy low sodium beef broth. And that's for me, I want to add salt, not have it given to me. So I think, how much am I looking for? A cup of that? Half a cup of beef broth. So we're going to use a half a cup of beef broth. And you always, recipes say use the broth first and the alcohol second. I don't get that. You want that alcohol to steam off and leave the really good stuff. So I always put the alcohol in first and I add the broth second. Okay, so then we're gonna add in our, where's the next thing here? Sorry, I'm just catching up with myself. Okay, this says 8 to 10 minutes. We're not gonna wait that long. This is one of those things, again, I made this recipe so many years ago. It had to be it's 30 years ago I first made this recipe. And I changed it along the way, and sometimes I didn't keep up with it on my notes. So I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna get ready my mustard, Dijon mustard, and my sour cream. I'm cooking these noodles, and I think they're probably pretty close. Yeah. Noodles are done. I'm gonna take them out, strain them. This is why I love doing this cooking show in my kitchen, because I can take out all the stuff I need. And not have to worry about you all seeing the mess in my kitchen. So, all right, let me drain these noodles. And what you're looking for is in that sauce. It says simmer to let it thicken. I don't really think it thickens that much. It's mostly that the flavors just meld. You want that broth not to taste like it's just come out of a bottle, a box, or a can. And you really want that flavor of the mushrooms to be infused with all this good stuff, the liquor, the brandy, etc. Okay. So the noodles are all ready. We're gonna pop them right here on top of that. I think I'm gonna start adding this now. Let's see. Oh, what I forgot is to add some butter to the noodles. Let's do that. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon. Just add another flavor element to the dish. We'll bury that in there and it'll melt. Okay. So now let's add in the sour cream. And the mustard. Okay. So this is 6 tablespoons of sour cream, and once again, no surprise, it's full fat. I went through a lot of courses on healthy eating, and the suggestion was go for the full fat and just don't do it to any extreme, either amount or number of times. So, but the stuff that's fat-free, I never eat, ever, ever, never. So don't even think about buying that. Fat-free milk is one thing, but fat-free cream cheese, it's not cream cheese. It can't be. So maybe you want to get the Neuchatel, which is like a third reduced fat. That's okay, but I would just stick with the full fat and just don't use that much. Okay, just look at this sauce. The sauce just looks so yummy. I want to get all that good stuff in there.
Connie, this looks delicious.
What was that?
Yep,
What was that?
looks delicious.
Oh, it is. I know. Doesn't it? When you
So
can't
good.
smell it. I wish I had smell-o-vision, but it's so good.
Mhm.
My phone's doing much better, G. I think it was too close. Okay, so that is, let's see here. Okay, we're gonna put this back. We're gonna put the meat back in. And let me just show you the meat. The meat is just, it's got a lot of pink in it, and that's what you want. There's some pieces that got a little brown. That's when the phone was burning up. And I lost my cool, so to speak. Haha, cool. So I'm going to turn this around now and just Mix it in and let it continue to cook just a little bit, but you don't want to cook it too much because this meat is best served like medium rare. Not overcooked. If you're somebody who likes your meat more cooked, that's fine. Because this will always be tender, even if it's cooked more, it's always tender. Okay. Well, we're doing okay with time, everybody, I think.
So Connie, again, this is Paula, sorry. It looks like you're on medium heat for all of this, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I reduced it down to medium, Paula. Thank you for asking me, because those are things I should be telling you. It says medium low, so I'm gonna lower it. This is my hottest part of the stove. So you don't want it to go overboard cooking. You want to just reheat it a little bit. And
Okay,
what we're gonna do now is throw in some fresh dill. I love dill. I hope you all do too. But, and even dry dill would be okay. But with something like this, I would go for the fresh. So I bought a big bunch of dill because I use it with everything. I use it with cream cheese and smoked salmon and all. So it's just this gorgeous little thing. And I'm gonna just mix it in. And I'm going to shut off the heat.
Wendy, do you have a question you want to ask Connie?
Did I miss Connie?
Yeah,
Hi. Did I miss when you added the Dijon mustard?
it went in with the sour cream.
And how much did you
Sorry,
add?
1 tablespoon. You don't have the recipe. I forgot, Wendy. I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay. No, it's okay.
6 tablespoons of sour cream and 1 tablespoon of Dijon.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. You'll get the recipes and you'll be able to make this.
Yes.
It's so easy and so yummy. Okay, so that is it. Now I'm going to show you the dish at the end here. So, along with adding the butter to the noodles to get some flavor, you also always want to, with any kind of pasta, you want to add some sort of oil to keep it separate so it doesn't clump up while you're waiting for the rest of the dish to finish. So that's the other reason for putting in the butter. And I know I mentioned these things and I know you know this, but the reason you use butter and olive oil sometimes together is that butter has the flavor. Olive oil has the ability to have a high smoke point. So you can use it to fry things and it's not going to burn, especially, if you use peanut oils or something like that. Just making sure that phone is okay. Yeah, okay. I heard something. I heard a snap there. I got a little nervous. Okay, so I'm going to show you the finished dish. And I'm going to peek at the chicken here, which has another 5 minutes. Oh, it's looking golden brown though. It looks great. All right, so we are going to, so with this dish, I love to use a bowl. So I went to Crate and Barrel and I bought myself these bowls, which are just, they're big, but you go into these restaurants and the bowl is like gigunda and the food is like this little bit in the middle. That's not me, but I do love serving a bowl and having a good, beautiful look to it and having the food right in the center. I just think it's so pretty. So we're going to take.
Did you get that at Crate and Barrel?
What was that?
Did you get that at Crate and Barrel?
I believe I did.
I have those bowls.
Of course you do, Judy. Is it Judy who said that?
Yes.
Of course you do. Judy, we are the same person. You live in Canton. I live in Canton. So I'm taking some of the noodles on the bottom. And, I'm a big eater, but I'm not going to go crazy here. And I'm going to take my lovely spoon that I need to find. And where is it? I have a lovely spoon, but can I find it? Oh, where did it go? All right. Hold on. I need to find my lovely spoon. I'm sure I've used it somewhere. Hold on. I'll be right there. Well, I found a different lovely spoon. All right. And then we put some of this right on top. And you let it kind of sizzle along, or whatever the right word is. Make sure you put sauce all over.
That looks so good, Connie. I already asked Craig if he's going to make that for me.
Get your order in. And then I finish off always, and I'm gonna just, I'm gonna show you on the camera here. Hold on a second. And then I have to show you the chicken finished as well. Hold on. Okay, we're back to this. Okay, there's the camera. And I always finish off with a little sprig of whatever I've used in the dish and just put it in the middle here.
Ah,
Do
beautiful.
another little bit. There's nothing like beautiful, fresh dill after you've cooked with it. So this to me speaks holiday, but it also speaks
Beautiful.
family. And
That's
it speaks
beautiful.
to you using it not just in the holiday season, but at any time you want to enjoy your friendship and your family. So enjoy that. So that's number one. Okay, how are we doing on the
Beautiful.
2 minutes on the chicken? So I'm going to just say, let me show you. Well, I showed you the panna cotta. Let me see if the roulade is ready. So one of the things that the recipe called for is paprika. If you want, stroganoff typically has paprika. Feel free to use it. I didn't. I love paprika, but you don't have to, use it. But okay, so I'm gonna get a dish that looks pretty. I'm gonna lower my screen here. Okay. So Christmas dish.
Spode, right? Is that a
There we go.
spode?
Spode.
Yes,
Jane,
I love those. Yeah, very
knows.
pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty.
So I'm going to cut this on an angle. Oh, you can't see me doing that. Hold on. I'm going to cut this on an angle. And see, it's a little breaking. That's okay because it hasn't quite gotten warm enough. I mean, cold enough. And I might even do that on the other end, actually. Let me do that on the other end too. Just so it looks a little symmetric. This is the part you get to eat in the kitchen before anybody knows you've done that. The little
Mhm.
edges. Okay. And then we're going to take just a little bit more of the chutney and just do as close to a drizzle as you can, although it's not so easy to do that. And if you have people who like nuts too, you could always throw some nuts on this and it would be just lovely. So you just let this sort of drizzle over. That's the chicken. The chicken's ready. And it doesn't have to look any special way. And then you just load it up with some crackers. And I'm going to just, because I'm hungry, I'm going to find my crackers. Here they are. Like, who needs a fancy cracker when you've got Triscuits, right? And Triscuits come like in these little triangles now. So I'm just going to ruin the whole design. Whoa, and have a taste.
Beautiful. It's so festive. It's beautiful.
Oh boy.
It's lovely. Mm.
Sorry. That's good. It's really good. It's so refreshing and so cheesy. It's nice. Okay. Chicken is ready. I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to show you that. And we're almost at 8 o'clock. So the timing is just right.
Good. That's why we start at 6:30.
Oh, yeah. Me too, Jean. With food, we have to.
We have to.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah.
All right. So now let me get the cutting board.
Hey, Connie,
Hey.
I think next time I'm coming down to your house and I'll be your assistant.
I was just gonna say that we should all
Judy's
go
a very
over.
smart woman. I've known her a long time. She's a very smart woman. She knows a good thing. Anytime, Judy. Anytime.
That's right.
Oh, these look so pretty. Wait till you see these.
Beautiful. Too pretty to eat.
Never.
Mm.
Look how beautiful they are.
Oh, look at that.
They're so brown. They're gorgeous. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on the counter there. And I'm going to, the way I would present this
Oh, here she goes.
is to cut them in half and serve them. You'll see how pretty they look with the the insides kind of poking out. So let me get my knife here. And hot there, but I want you to see the bottom. Beautiful. The
Mhm.
bottom's perfectly cooked.
Great.
I think this is going to be, I think I need a serrated knife. I've used every dish, every pot, every knife in the place. It's a mess in here. I'm so glad you can't see it. I'll show you this. Let me show you this on camera here. Hold on. Very hot. I should wait. Actually, it says to wait. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes and just see if there are any questions before I cut into it, because I can tell it needs to kind of rest. And that's one of the reasons. Any questions about anything that we've done?
Connie,
Yes.
what do you serve the chicken with? What do you
Oh,
serve?
Annabelle, great question. So I love roasted potatoes. I would do that. I would do a green, like green beans or asparagus, because they would look beautiful with this on the side. Oh, and I'm going to tell you a message too, Annabelle. So I was watching, I don't know, everybody's reading Ina Garten's book, and I'm in the middle of it now and loving it. And one of the things she talks about is, instead of having a platter that just has, like when you're serving guests, that just has chicken on one thing, beets, beans on one and potatoes on another. She takes a big platter and she puts on the same platter the chicken in the middle, the beans on the side, and the potatoes or whatever on the other side, and serves it so that people say, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be serving with it. This is what I'm supposed to have with it. So that's a great question, Annabelle. And I would say some sort of potato and a green vegetable would be really lovely. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Connie,
Annabelle, you are so smart.
Connie,
Yes.
is one serving of the chicken the half of the
No, no.
on crude, or you serve the whole thing?
The whole thing, the whole
Okay.
thing. So just take a look.
Ah,
Beautiful, huh?
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
It's got the cheese, and it's just so pretty. I love it.
It
So
looks wonderful.
yeah, now I can say
You could actually do a little salad, like a lovely salad with that
a
too.
salad would be beautiful.
Mhm.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's
It would,
beautiful.
you're right. I
Connie.
do that too. I do a salad too.
Thank you.
You're right.
Yep.
So, okay, any other questions? So raise your hands. Who will make the appetizer?
maybe.
Who will make the chicken? How about the beef stroganoff? And how about the dessert?
I'm gonna
You're all
have my
taken.
chef make the beef stroganoff.
Oh, there you go. And chocolate is
Yes.
good with beef. Jean, tell them to put the chocolate
Yes.
on.
I'll
So
tell him.
these are some of my favorite recipes. I just have to tell you, I've made them for years and years. My aunt is coming over next Tuesday, and I'm making the chicken for her. And I made the panna cottas, as I said last night, and I'm planning to do the beef stroganoff maybe for New Year's Eve. I have some friends who come over on New Year's Eve day because we're all asleep by New Year's Eve night. It may be our lunch. And I just love these recipes, and I would ask you, please make them. And again, if you need any ideas for appetizers, I am the appetizer queen. I do have to say I love cooking them. So please ask cdspiros@comcast.net. And I want to thank all the people who were in Cookbook Club who took my recommendation and said they would come. So thank you
Yeah.
all for coming.
Yeah, thank you for all being here.
Thank
So
you.
now I just have a couple of comments I just want to share with Connie, which is Sarah said, we're serving the chicken with a beet salad. A beet salad.
Oh, I love
That
it.
sounds good, doesn't it? And then Jacqueline said, Connie, you are spectacular. So that was nice. Very
You.
nice. And she's going to say she's going to make it all. And Marianne said, app and dessert she's going to make. And
Great.
Karen Murphy Lynn says, thank you, Connie. And Patty says, thank you, Connie. So,
Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for being here. It's a busy season, I know, but what better night than torrential rain to go
Yeah.
on a virtual
oh,
cooking
and
tour.
Wendy, do you have one last question? Did you have one? You have
Oh,
your
I know.
hand up. Your hand up.
No,
Yes,
No.
I do. I do. I do. Okay. So with the dessert, if I cannot use coconut
heavy cream.
milk, so heavy cream, just use
know
the heavy
why?
cream in the same amount.
Yeah. Yeah. You know
Okay.
why you can't use milk? Milk will curdle when it boils. So you don't want to use that. It really won't. It's not a good substitute for anything that's cooked over the
Okay, so
stove. in
heavy
particular.
cream. Okay.
Heavy cream. Yeah.
And
Maybe half and half. I've not tried it, but maybe half and half.
okay. And yeah,
Okay,
I'll
very
email
good.
you any other questions.
Email me the other questions. I'm going to do one last plug for something that's coming up. So the Friends of the Library, as you all know, we pay for all the programming that happens at the library. And we do that by memberships. And I know all of you have received a letter. So if you can make a donation, we would much appreciate it. But we also have an event going on Thursday night, which is a fundraiser, and it's called Sip and Shop. And that is Thursday from 6 to 8. We have 10 artisans, all local, Milton and Canton, who will be there selling their products. And I really ask you to join us and get some last minute Christmas presents or holiday presents. So that's my
Yes.
pitch.
They're beautiful. And so Lisa said, love the recipes. Karen Murphy Lynn says, reminder Thursday PM. And Marianne says, thank you, Connie. Way to handle the technical difficulties.
Oh,
Jerry said, thank you. Can't wait to try. And I just want you to know that I already shopped at the shop and it was really beautiful. All the crafts are so lovely.
thank you for saying that, Jean. I think we've got some really lovely stuff. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now. Happy
Thank you,
holidays.
Connie. Okay, good night.
Thank
Bon
you.
appetit. Happy
Thank you.
Three, two, one. Here we go.